This is a channeling from Adama on the evolution of Earth and humanity and the path to enlightenment. Earth, as you know it, is currently in the third dimension. And as I have explained in a previous channeling, a dimension is a bandwidth of frequency that encompasses a spirit or a large collective of spirits, as is the case with Earth. Earth is currently in the third dimension. However, as many are becoming increasingly aware, it is shifting, or it is making a shift, attempting to make a shift into the fifth dimension. This has indeed been a long time coming, since even longer than before the incarnation of Yeshua, or Jesus Christ, as he is commonly known now by the Christians. But it is projected that this shift will be completed in the next 200 to 400 years. And if we are lucky, maybe even before then. However, at the current rate that humanity is moving, this is unlikely. Unfortunate. But Earth is being called as a whole currently to learn its own karmic lessons in a sense. For Mother Gaia has been much too lenient on her children, us the humans, and has let us pillage her body for years. I use the term us in this because we, the Telosians, here in Telos, have not done enough, or we feel we have not done enough to dissuade the surface dwellers, as we call you, to stop their destruction of the earth. Now, in this, Mother Gaia is, or in learning these lessons, Mother Gaia is freeing herself of the patterns that she has fallen into for the past tens of thousands of years, and hopefully will be making the ascension from the third dimension to the fifth dimension soon. Soon in relative terms, for our lifetimes are much longer than yours, so soon to us is indeed about 200 years. Oh, the illusion of time. But you have posed a question about previous sources that you have heard that have mentioned that some may stay on a third dimensional Earth, and this is indeed the case. However, it will not be the same planet that you know now, for Mother Gaia is completing her ascension, whether all of her children come with her or not. So if you choose to ascend with Mother Gaia, or if you are incarnated when she makes this ascension and you choose to ascend with her, then you will indeed be a part of the fifth dimension. However, if you are not conscious of this choice and do not choose to make it, or you do not live from a place of love, then you will not ascend to the fifth dimension with Mother Gaia. So to clarify those criteria, in order to ascend to the fifth dimension with Mother Gaia, you must either live from your heart chakra or be aware of this choice and consciously strive to live, be aware of the choice to move to the fifth dimension and consciously strive to embody a fifth dimensional frequency. Now, I would like to speak to the nature of Mother Gaia for a bit as well, for I have previously mentioned that Mother Gaia is a spirit. And yes, she is. However, she also has a consciousness that is slightly separate from other spirits. For example, if you talk to the collective consciousness of the humans, they will refer to themselves as we. However, if you speak with the collective consciousness of Mother Gaia, she will refer to herself as I, as a singular being. And this does indeed speak to the perhaps umbrella-like nature of Mother Gaia and her belief that she does encompass all on Earth, which physically she does. And she has a very strong feeling of possession over all of her children, which is pretty much everything on Earth except for the creations of humans that do her harm. Now, one may connect to Mother Gaia's spirit by grounding outside, but they may also connect to her by any other means with which they use to communicate with their other spirit guides. So, for example, if you have a meditation practice inside and you wish to connect with Mother Gaia, you do not need to alter the location of your meditation practice to connect with her, for she is present everywhere here on Earth, even in the atmosphere. For as I have mentioned previously, air is an element, and Mother Gaia is the creator of these elements in this dimension. And for the fifth dimensional Earth that is already starting to grow within Mother Gaia, there are fifth dimensional beings there as well. And she considers them their children and has the same amount of possession, or feels the same amount of possession over them. Now, perhaps possession is a bit too cold-hearted of a term for this. However, there is not a better term that I can think of. So think of it as a warm possession, like in the way you feel you possess your family or your lovers in life. However, for Mother Gaia, it is indeed a bit strong, for her very core, for her very essence, makes up our physical bodies. Your scientists have discovered that the main ingredient in the human body is carbon, and this is a direct byproduct of Mother Earth. However, I think that is enough for now on the nature of Mother Earth, and I would like to speak to the evolution of humanity. Now, for those who are not aware, my name is Adama. And to clarify, that is not the channel's name. That is the being she is channeling. So, my name is Adama, and I am a being of the fifth dimension and the sixth density, and I live in a city on Earth called Telos that is located in the heart of Mount Shasta in California. This civilization has been here for many, many years, and we are the remnants of a civilization from a very, very long time ago called Lemuria. Back in its day, Lemuria was a sister city to the fabled city known as Atlantis. And many, many people on Earth are familiar with the tales of Atlantis, or at least some renditions of them. Now, Lemuria and Atlantis both experienced a great, great fall that not only caused a physical fall of their civilizations, but it also caused an energetic and mental fall, and perhaps even emotional one as well. For we, the Lemurians and the Atlanteans, were, as you say, messing around with things that we should not have been. As you say, we fucked around and found out. That's hilarious. But indeed, it is true. We did fuck around and find out. We were messing with things that we should not have been, and we were attempting to play God. We were pretending to be God. We wanted to feel powerful and have control over our reality. Now, I say we, however, I was not a part of this. I was a high priest of the city in Lemuria in which I lived before it fell. However, there were many, many beings in Lemuria and even more in Atlantis, for it was a bigger city, who operated under the belief that more power is better. So they constantly were striving to seek more information, more control, and find more ways to manipulate the physical reality beyond the beautiful energetic gifts that had been bestowed upon them by their Ba and Ka and higher creators. Now, after the physical fall of the civilizations, during which both cities ended up being completely destroyed, Lemuria falling into the ocean and Atlantis falling a few hundred years after, the people who survived quickly scattered and found stable places on Earth to survive the following cataclysms that would follow. These cataclysms included, but were not limited to, many natural disasters that are known on your planet still today, such as tornadoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, etc. And while these people were living and surviving through these cataclysms, they slowly lost their knowledge over the generations of the great capabilities of the human body and the great knowledges and studies they once conducted. The great knowledges they possessed and the studies they once conducted. And perhaps even returned to a more barbaric and raw form of living. And after many years, their civilizations were built back up, and now your civilizations are almost to the same point of Lemuria and Atlantis, at least technologically speaking, at the point when those two civilizations fell. And again, Mother Gaia is repeating this cycle here on a very collective level, and the humans on Earth are being offered a choice, whether they are conscious of it or not, to repeat the same follies of the Lemurians and the Atlanteans, or to learn from these mistakes and move forward with light and love in their heart and the intention to do no harm. Now, as for the Lemurians who survived and made it to Telos, myself included, we have been protecting much information, or all of the, not quite all, but the majority of the information, and for a while all of the information that survived from Lemuria, and we called ourselves for a while the New Lemuria. However, we now call ourselves Telos because as our civilization in Telos grew, we eventually had to expand into other underground civilizations, and now there are many all across the earth. Now, there were a few other groups of people on other parts of the world who managed to form their own underground civilizations and maintain bits of knowledge. However, none who are quite as vast as us Agarthans. Now, the Agartha Network is the name of the group of civilizations inside of the Earth, one of which is Telos, and many of which are scattered under other major landmarks across the world. Now, I have previously mentioned in other channelings that Marlena, the channel, has been visiting Telos in the astral realms as she sleeps, and this is possible for anybody who wishes to pursue the path of enlightenment. And if you wish to visit Telos as you are falling asleep, merely send out a request into the cosmos and direct it towards me, Adama. Do not worry where I am, for your message will find you, especially if you say my name. And even if you do not have a conscious recollection of your trip to Telos, please know that we heeded your call and you did indeed visit if it is in your highest and best good. Now, here in Telos, we offer a few different offerings, many of which are healing, but also, as is being offered to Marlena, are lessons. Now, I am Marlena's personal teacher, for she has been gifted with a very sensitive intuition, and she is very conscious of these astral realms, so I figured she would make a good channel, especially for the younger generations, for she has a good sense of humor and decent knowledge of the generational trends. This is indeed why I have chosen a more informal approach to this channeling, despite our use of large words, for we do indeed both love etymology, as I have stated previously. So the big words will not stop. However, we will indeed continue to laugh at ourselves and crack jokes along the way. And we hope you laugh with us as well. For this is not a comedy show, but we do hope it is entertaining. But in Telos, we offer many opportunities for one to progress down the path of spiritual enlightenment and towards nirvana, as some say. Nirvana is basically another term for the quote-unquote destination of enlightenment. However, once you reach enlightenment, there is still path for further progression, for the learning never stops. As you guys say, the more I learn, the less I know. And indeed, this holds true in the spiritual practice. Now, if you choose to come to Telos, you may make a request for what you would like us to help you with, or you may leave it up to your mentors here. However, if you choose to make a request, I would like for you to be aware that we offer psychological healing, spiritual healing, energetic healing, physical healing, and, as I have said before, lessons. So if you are interested in learning how to channel or learning more about the information presented in these channelings, you may certainly ask clarification. And even if you do not consciously remember the information that you are given here in Telos, please know that it is indeed being stored in your superconscious. Now, a quick word to what the superconscious is before I continue. There are three levels of consciousness. There is the superconscious, there is the consciousness, and there is the subconscious, or the unconscious, as it is sometimes called. Now, the subconscious is where the programmed beliefs lie. And in Freudian psychoanalytic psychological theory, it is known as the unconscious. Now, the superconscious in Freudian psychoanalytic theory is known as the id. It is known as the bridge, it is known in spirituality as the bridge between the consciousness and the higher self. So it is the bridge between what is known in this life and what is forgotten when one passes the veil of forgetting during the process of incarnation, which forces them to forget all previous knowledge before this lifetime. And the consciousness is what one is consciously aware of. Now, one may indeed expand their consciousness to include both their subconsciousness and their superconsciousness. However, it is recommended that one seek to encompass and become aware of their subconscious before they do so with their superconscious. For if one seeks to awaken and embody their superconsciousness before their subconsciousness is fully processed and embodied, then they may encounter difficulties such as a lack of groundedness and sometimes even an attraction for negative or they may sometimes even attract negative entities. And if you find yourself with an attachment or some kind of haunting, as you say, do not be alarmed. Merely go into yourself and first reestablish your sovereignty and ensure that everything within you is within your control, for you are the only thing that you can control. And after you have become aware of this sovereignty, you may ask in guides or ask in source or creator or whatever higher power you believe in to fill your body with white light and expel this negative energy. And after this energy is fully expelled, you must then seal up your energy so that this does not happen again. And be aware that if you do choose to seal off your energy in this way, it may limit your access to your higher faculties until you have fully awakened your lower faculties to balance them out. So, for example, if you are extremely clairvoyant and seeing people's auras all the time and you find yourself with a negative attachment and you expel this attachment, then seal off your energy, you may lose conscious awareness of your superconscious and lose access to these visions of people's auras. However, this is not a permanent loss, for once you have embodied more of your subconscious, you will be allowed or you will be able to embody more of your superconscious again. For it is all a give and take, and everything must be in balance. Even in the energy body, the human body seeks homeostasis. Now, as for the path to enlightenment, there are quite a few ways to get there. However, I would like to speak first on the way that this specific channel has chosen to get there. So, first of all, I would like to speak on the fact that this channel is a walk-in soul, and not of the traditional nature. A walk-in soul is traditionally one who has experienced a near-death experience, and during this near-death experience, the soul that they were born with decided that it did not want to be incarnated on this earth anymore, and so it leaves the body, and a soul of the higher realms passes through the veil of forgetting and enters into this quote-unquote empty vessel, this human body that is lacking a soul now. And this is agreed upon between both the original soul and the walk-in soul, sometimes even before incarnation, but certainly in the astral realms before it is actually taking place. Now, in Marlena's case, her walk-in soul and her original soul enmeshed and became one. This happened when she was 12 years old, and her original soul is of Lyran descent, and her walk-in soul is of Arcturian descent. Now, when this walk-in occurred, This was when she chose to seal off her Ka, for her Arcturian walk-in soul was the one who had experienced the past life with so much trauma. And this is the part of her body that she is currently awakening now. However, when she was about 16 years old, she began the process of processing all of the stored emotions in her body and all of the trauma that she had experienced. And recently, in the past few months, she completed this process with a Kundalini rising. When she was about 19 or 20 years old, she had a Kundalini awakening. Now, a Kundalini awakening is when one becomes aware of their Kundalini energy. And if they become aware of it, they may indeed have what is called Kundalini psychosis. However, this usually only occurs when the Kundalini awakening is forced or occurs unnaturally. And usually this is the result of Kundalini yoga when it is practiced incorrectly. For Kundalini yoga is indeed a very powerful tool in the awakening and rising of Kundalini energy. However, it is also a very volatile tool, for the knowledge has not been properly passed down over the years, and one must be very in tune with their body and intuition in order to make sure that they do not push themselves too far and past the limits of their energetic or physical body. Now, once one has awakened their Kundalini energy, they may indeed consciously cause it to rise up their spine to their crown chakra. And it is to the belief of most humans that this is the limit of the Kundalini energy. However, that is not the case. For after one has completed their Kundalini awakening, they may then complete a Kundalini or undergo a Kundalini rising. During the Kundalini rising, one must finish processing all of the trauma from this current lifetime, and one must fully rid themselves of all negative karma. Now, karma are lessons that one must learn in this lifetime in order to not reincarnate here on Earth. For Earth is like a school. Many come here to Earth to learn the lesson of overcoming the ego and forgetting and rediscovering their true nature. For when one is allowed to rediscover their true nature from scratch, as you say, then they may discover new things about it that they had not previously known, for it allows them to look at their own nature with a set of fresh eyes, which is rather difficult. And if you try this on yourself, you may find out how difficult this truly is. Now, once one has incarnated here on Earth, if they do not learn the lessons of the ego in their first go around, they must incarnate on Earth again. And the lessons that are not learned are negative karma, as you say. And until one has fully rid themselves of negative karma, they are stuck in this karmic loop, as it is sometimes called, and are stuck incarnating here on Earth until they have fully learned all of the lessons that karma has to teach them. Now, this may seem a bit harsh to those of you who are living through this reality now, and I do sympathize with that, for this reality is quite harsh at the moment. However, I would like to note that your soul knew what it was getting into before it incarnated on this earth. And there is a part of you, no matter how small or distant it may be, that does know what is happening on this earth on a deep level. And it may take you a while to find this remembrance, but I promise it is somewhere within you. You just have to seek it out and hold space for it to come to the surface. Now, once one has fully rid themselves of all negative karma and learn all the lessons that she has to teach them, then they may undergo a Kundalini rising, where depending on the level of feminine energy present in one's body, their Kundalini energy may permanently rise from their sacral chakra to their crown chakra, as is done in many Kundalini meditations. And this fully awakens one's Ba, which is their connection to their higher self in its purest form, and is the energy body of the higher self. And Marlena completed this about 2 or 3 months ago. Now, since then, she has been working on awakening her other energy bodies and fully unifying her bodies in this incarnation into one. And through this process has learned about her Ka, which has been locked up until about a week ago. And since then, she has been working very diligently to process the trauma of this lifetime and fully embody her Ka and enmesh it with her Ba. And she has not been alone in this effort, for I have been helping her quite a bit, as well as Mary Magdalene, the prominent figure from the Bible, who was Yeshua's twin flame in those incarnations for them. And she has also been receiving help from her Arcturian soul pod family in the 9th dimension, and they are aiding in holding space for her emotions while she is processing these traumatic memories in the 9th dimension in the astral realm. Now, if you wish to visit your own Akashic records, you do not need to know where they reside. However, you may seek them out inside of your third eye chakra. Now, most people's Akashic records may be inside of a library. However, that may not be the case for everybody. So if you envision your Akashic records in your third eye chakra and you do not see a library, do not force yourself to see a library. Merely go with the vision that comes to you naturally. And for most people, there may appear a book or a crystal or both or some kind of form, and you will just intuitively know, you will automatically know that if you touch this form and pose a question to it, it will give you an answer. And that is the nature of your Akashic records. It resonates with the frequency of the question and pulls an answer from all of the entirety of your soul. And it is a way for one to store the very vast number of experiences that one may accrue during their existence as a spirit and a multidimensional being. For indeed, many people on Earth have had multiple lifetimes, if not on Earth, then on other planets or in other dimensions, as is the case for this channel. She has had 3 lifetimes here on Earth, and she has had 4 lifetimes in other dimensions or on other planets. So her soul is, as you shall say, seasoned. I don't know about that. I feel pretty green sometimes, but I appreciate the compliment. No need to be humble here. These are not your words. But your humility is always appreciated, for pride has not done many people much good. But I would like to speak more on how one may seek the path of enlightenment and how one may further progress upon it. For that is the main purpose of this incarnation here on Earth. And indeed, if you achieve enlightenment here on Earth and pass through the initiation of Horus upon your death, you may become a master soul or an enlightened soul, these are perhaps not quite the right terms. However, the channel is not fully aware of the terms that are officially used for these statuses of soul evolution. But as I have said, one step may be a Kundalini awakening, and this is especially so for those who identify as female in this lifetime. Now, a quick note for those who are transgender in this lifetime. There is indeed a soul or a reason for this in your soul. For if you have had many lifetimes here on earth, you may have incarnated as male or female many different times, or perhaps once one gender more than the other. And therefore, your soul may inherently lean towards masculine or feminine. However, that does not mean that if your soul leans masculine, your soul will choose to embody in a male body. For sometimes your soul must learn the lesson of going against societal expectations to embody yourself. Or sometimes this is just merely a coincidence. And if it makes you happier to transition, then of course, do it. Because nobody should tell you how to live your life. But if one is curious about why they may feel gender dysmorphia on a soul level, this may be a cause. For your human body's balance of feminine and masculine energies may not line up with your higher self's balance of masculine and feminine energies. However, this does not mean that gender-affirming care will not alter the balance of masculine and feminine energies in the human body, for indeed it may, depending on the circumstances. Now, as for those who identify as male and do not have as much feminine energy in their body, they may still become aware of their Kundalini energy. However, it may take more effort for them to rise their Kundalini energy to their crown chakra, and depending on their balance of masculine and feminine energy, they may never be able to complete a full Kundalini rising, which is permanent. However, this does not mean that they cannot achieve enlightenment, for there are many paths to enlightenment, as I have mentioned earlier. Now, another path to enlightenment is merely to resonate with the frequency of Mother Gaia, for as you have experienced right now, as the channel has experienced over the past few days, and as a few others on Earth may have as well, the Earth is going through a series of upgrades. The channel perceived these upgrades as bouts of vertigo and dizziness, and as she would describe, she felt like she could fall through the fabric of reality if she made a wrong move. However, this would not be possible. It was merely just unsettled energy. But there are others who have felt this, and it may lead to similar feelings of disorientation or confusion, and perhaps even lapses of time. And sometimes the causes of these sensations may be the upgrades of the Earth's DNA, for the Earth does indeed have its own DNA on an energetic level, but not perhaps a molecular level as you are currently familiar with. For there are no strands of DNA for the Earth. However, she does have her own collection of strands of DNA, and each individual DNA strand on the entire planet does indeed belong to Mother Gaia on a very basic and quantum level. So while Mother Gaia is receiving these upgrades, the people and beings who possess the DNA of Mother Gaia, which is everything that is perceivable, and everybody who is incarnated on Earth at this moment, are also receiving these upgrades, whether they are aware of them or not. These upgrades are coming from beings of higher dimensions, and occasionally even Solus itself. Solus is the name of the sun in your galaxy. Or sorry, not your galaxy, in your star system, your solar system. And he has been working very diligently to aid Mother Gaia in her ascension to the 5th dimension. And just like you may foster a relationship with Mother Gaia, you may also foster a relationship with Solus, or Father Solus as he is sometimes called, as he and Mother Gaia are considered to be quantumly entangled on a certain level, as is Father Solus with every other planet in his solar system. Now, another way to achieve enlightenment is to fully awaken your Merkaba. And your Merkaba is a level of the energy body that we have previously spoken on in other channels, but a brief explanation of it now would be beneficial. So the word Merkaba comes from Hebrew, and it translates to the chariot of God. However, there is a more direct translation of this word, and I would like to share it with you, for it makes the understanding of this word a bit more literal. The word mer, or the part of the word mer, represents or translates to light, and ka is frequently mistranslated to spirit. However, it is more accurately translated to the spirit of the human body. And Ba is frequently mistranslated to body. However, the more accurate translation and the proper translation is the higher self, or the spirit of the soul in its purest form. So you have the light of source, you have the spirit of the physical body, and you have the spirit of the soul incarnating the physical body, and all three of these aspects combine to form the Merkaba. And the Merkaba, when fully active, will allow one to more easily progress on their spiritual path. For as I have said before, inertia and momentum are very beneficial in this path. And as one gains inertia and momentum, as one gains inertia and momentum, they may also gain more inertia and momentum and also gain more knowledge. That did not come out quite as I meant for it to. However, the meaning came across just as well. So I will not waste effort rephrasing. Now, as I have said before, you may also come visit Telos and receive lessons here. However, those may not be quite as conscious as the other method, or might not be quite as conscious or visceral as the previous methods I have mentioned. Now, if one wishes to awaken their Ka, they may connect with their physical body either through working out or through other mindfulness practices. However, it may be difficult to differentiate between your Ba and your Ka. And if this is the case for you, I would direct you to the Magdalene manuscript. Now, if you look this up on Google, the channel would like to note that the book will come up as like $300 or something crazy like that. However, you can purchase this book on Kindle and read it in the app. for it is not worth $300 to read a 250-page book, or however long this book actually is. And the Magdalene manuscript part of the book is only about 70 pages. So it is not that much of a commitment. However, if you wish to receive more in-depth knowledge about the Ka and exercises for strengthening and awakening the Ka, the rest of the book has more detailed information on that, so it may be beneficial to read more than just the channeled information from Mary Magdalene. That being said, though, if one reads this book and decides that they would still like further information, you may reach out to me, of course, anytime, Adama, that is, not Marlena, for she is still in the third dimension and will not be able to help you unless she is physically present with you. However, you may also reach out to Mary Magdalene, for she is very well versed in Ka and is attempting to help as many people here on Earth with their ascension to enlightenment, and she loves spreading her knowledge of Ka, for she is a master, an ascended master. Now, as for other ways to awaken or to progress onto enlightenment, one may align themselves with the spiritual truth of the universe and seek to embody love and live from their heart chakra. And this may indeed be enough to reach enlightenment, as simple as it is. And for more information on the basic laws of the universe, I would recommend seeking out the Law of One material, channelings from Ra. And this information speaks about many of the universal truths, as well as some of the information that I have covered and will cover in these lessons and these channelings. However, that is about all that we have for tonight. But if you are still seeking more knowledge on this topic, I strongly recommend to ask to come visit Telos, for we have many faculties here that are currently being underused by our Telosians, and we would love to share these faculties with you surface dwellers, as we call you. And perhaps those of you who are of a fifth dimensional frequency may even visit Telos in the physical realm if you come to Mount Shasta. For indeed, there are a handful of surface dwellers who have already done this, and we wish for this exchange program, if you will, to continue to take place. For there are indeed Telosians living on the surface under the guise of humans. However, they do not look as they do in Telos, for we Telosians are quite tall and look quite strikingly different than the surface dwellers, but that is a topic for another time. And as always, it has been a pleasure. Adios.